Hi friends, how are you today? Welcome back to Phido International. So as always, we like to share some of our experiences of life with you, and that's what we stand for. I know we always say to you, let's start thinking, and so much has been going on recently, so I'm beginning to wonder, are we really thinking? Because with the things going on, have we been given the chance to think or the opportunity to think? And some of the other programs I listen to and watch, things they bring up is, let's start this conversation. Let's have this conversation. You know, there's so much going on that is being hidden. It's like hidden underneath the carpet and no one's talking about it. So everyone's at the stage now where they're saying, let's bring everything out in the open and let's start talking. So maybe we should be looking at, let's start talking. Maybe it will give us reason to all contribute to something. You know, use your voice, speak out. So I'm still thinking what really should be my new slogan, because I know let's start thinking. No one's giving anyone a chance to think. So I'll be thinking a lot more, you know, I love thinking, to what really the slogan should be. But let's start talking is one of them. One of my favorite one is empowering you. So my role is to share things I know that will empower you. Maybe you should help me as well. Let me know what you think. How do you see the things I bring across, and how does it contribute to you? How does it support you? So today we have something really interesting to talk about. Again, based on the knowledge I come across and based on the books I read, the news in here and the information is so much out there. It's like a minefield, and so much is coming to you, and you need to sit down and analyze them and, you know, comprehend them and wonder what is going on. But my kind of person is always the one that wants to find a solution. So maybe I'll be coming up with, let's find solutions. So what are we talking about today? It's quite interesting. So I'm going to throw things at you like listed, protected, conservation, environmental degradation, environmental impact assessment, collaboration with stakeholders, corporate social responsibility. These are some of the words you come across in the various books you're reading that's trying to tell you what ideally should happen, what the real life we have now should be. But is this what is happening in Africa? Do you see any of these words I've said happening in Africa, if you are from Africa or if you've ever traveled to Africa? So my name is Phido, and today we're going to be talking about something I call Take Africa Back. I call it Let's Take Africa Back. So title of today is Take Africa Back. Now what's happening in our African society is everything is gone to the dogs. Everything. So we're talking about listed. Here in the UK or here in the West, you hear places, neighborhoods. This whole neighborhood is listed. You cannot do anything there. You cannot make any new development, because this is what it's been for centuries and they want to keep it that way. You hear things like conservation, and a whole area is put into conservation and you cannot change anything there. But that's not what we have in Africa. And I mentioned in one of the videos we did recently, I come from a village where everything that's happened there, practically the natural resources that were in my community, Ogoni community, was taken over by a corporate organization called Shell. So Take Africa Back. And I was talking about my community, Ogoni. Now, we happen to have natural resources, petroleum, whatever you want to call this, the dark red some people call it the dark oil or the dark gold, whatever you want to call it. We had it in our community. And what then happened? Shell comes over to Nigeria and Shell takes over everything. Who did Shell negotiate with to do what he did? Nigerian government, of course. Because naturally, whenever you want to bring up this topic, people go, yeah, but what about the government? What about the people who did negotiations with them? Now, this is an international organization that knows what the international rules are. And this is where I look at things from a different viewpoint. Let's pretend for a minute that the Nigerian authorities had no clue what the international rules are, and they don't know what is supposed to happen, but you, international organization, leave your country where rules are completely different, where you don't lay pipes overboard, you lay the pipes underground, where you don't even go near communities to do things like this, where people live. I mean, to open an airport here in the UK, to even have a runway, what happens is first you have to have all the legal documents that need to happen, all the environmental impact assessment to say that this is okay for a place near where people live. And where the bigger problem is even noise pollution. Not like this is going to physically affect them. Noise, that they're sleeping at night and there's a plane go. The government had to stop planes flying in the night in this neighborhood where this runway is being built, because they don't want to give people trouble when they're sleeping at night. And then you have to think about what's the effect of all that noise and all the effect of the aeroplane, and when all the fumes comes out of the plane, what will this do to the lives of people who live? All of these things are considered. And there was a time when I think BP went to America. That was when Obama first got into power. And BP went, I don't know, they had an accident. This was even in the deep sea. But you don't want to see what's happening in Nigeria. This is Niger Delta. This is Ogoni. And I actually witnessed this happening because the pipes are overground. An auntie of ours was going to the stream. We still go to the stream to fetch water. She's walking past these pipes and it burst and killed her. Pure flame, fire. Now, when you hear corporate social responsibility, these companies are supposed to contribute to that community where they are taking all this money from, because that's money. When Kensariwa started giving them the figures of what they should have given back to Ogoni people for the role they played in the community, they decided to kill him. That's why he was hung. And then they caused so much trouble in Ogoni land, we all had to run away, becoming refugees. This is where this topic is really leading to. Now they've come to your community, they've destroyed it. They've caused these internal squabbles between communities, because in the end it came out as if we were having inter-communal quarrels with our neighbors. And they incited neighbors to come and give Ogoni people more trouble, and people were getting into the farms and killing people in broad daylight. All kinds of massive nonsense was going on in Ogoni land. People had to run for their life. People couldn't stay at home anymore. People were living in the bushes. Bushes are not safe. Home is not safe. We were lost. And then in the end, people ended up in camps. Eventually, lots of them were taken from the camps to the US. Some of us ended up here in the UK. But you see, when this is happening in Africa, this is just an example of the one I experienced and I witnessed. My father's home was burnt down. Everything about my dad is gone. I have no pictures to show to my children of what my dad looks like because of this people. Now we're all out from our communities. Most of us ran out to these various parts of the world. Now look at what's going on. George Floyd. So your child cannot even feel free living in the West. Because now we're being told, go back to where you came from. Do you see the irony of this whole thing? You cannot live in your community in peace, because whenever they find anything that makes sense to them, they're going to come and take it away. It's happening all over Africa. I have shown you documents that contain these things. And that's why I'm saying knowledge to support your growth. These things are all written. Companies in this document that someone sent to me, over 10 or 15 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange are still drilling all types of resources from Africa. And so they leave the people in abject poverty. They don't even contribute a road in that community. And you come here and you learn about corporate social responsibility. You learn about how places are conserved. You learn about how a place is listed. You learn about environmental degradation and impact assessment. Right now we're hearing about environmental, what's it called? There's a lot of noise going on about how the world is coming to an end, ethical, and all the usual things you hear, and they make a big movement out of it. But in Africa, we don't even have basic life. We don't have basic life. But here we are far away talking about environmental issues, where the air we breathe is so polluted, so we have to cut green gas emission and all kinds of things going on. Right there in my own land, in Ogoni land, gas is flaring into the atmosphere, caused done by Shell. So what are we talking about? Why is it a different rule for a different area and a different rule for another area? Why is that the case? Because what is really causing this pain that I feel is, you come here and then you're made to feel like subhuman being. You're then dehumanized. You're then made to feel like you don't exist. These people come to Africa and they take over the best lands. The choicest part of the community is theirs. Then they create a gate and they lock themselves in and they provide the best schools with the best teachers and the best whatever you can think about. Electricity is with them 24/7. Meanwhile, nobody else has electricity. The roads to where they live is perfect. The rest of the community is left in abject poverty. It is time we take our continent back. That's what I mean by take Africa back. Because we ran away from there for them, because they've caused all this pain. And we ran down here as they've told us that here is better. Because the image they give is the government's fault. It's always the government's fault. You see, your government doesn't care about you. That's why look at your community is a mess. Run to the other side is better there. But they are actually coming there to collect all the raw materials that are there, so that they can use it to go and create a better life for their own people. And so the few of us who are able to run away and get here, then they wait for us right there at the border to start dehumanizing us, to start giving us things in our head that we start feeling inferior, to start feeling uncomfortable with ourselves. We start losing it. I know so many Africans here who don't even know who they are anymore. I mean, it got to a point I was thinking of setting up something that I call second chance. Why did I come up with that? Because people who have been here, they've lost it. And is it possible to get your life back again after you've been degraded to feel so uncomfortable with yourself? I know so many people that can't even come out of their house because they think they've done something wrong. This system dehumanizes you. You're driving in a car and it's a nice car, police will stop you and then they start, searching every part of you, and sometimes they plant whatever they have to plant on you just to make sure you get into trouble. I watched a video where this man was a bank manager, black man, and he had a decent car and lived in a decent neighborhood, and that was the beginning of his trouble. And they started planting all kinds of things on him because how come you have 2 cars? I remember when I first got a decent job at last after struggling and, writing series. You don't want to hear my story. I came here and started struggling, and then of course, you have to start all over again. Way back in Nigeria, I had finished university level. I was working in a bank. I was a deputy manager in a bank. I was doing okay when all this trouble started with my community. And I left there and I came here. And what did I find? In my small mind, I'm excited, thinking, yes, I'm going to go back and work in a bank. I started applying for jobs in banks. And what they laugh. They were like, what are you talking about and where are you from? And that was the beginning of my problems. So I'm thinking, this is not possible. I'm a graduate. I know what to do. No, you don't belong here. You don't have the qualification we need for you to be able to work here. What type of qualification is that? Your degree in Nigeria doesn't count here. So you know what happened to me? I had to go back and start all over again. I had to go and take on an MVQ course in administration, starting right from MVQ level 2. And because I knew everything I was there to know, I was doing these things within 1 month. These are courses that take 6 months. I was telling them over in a month. Got the job immediately, and then slowly things built up and I got a decent job. Got a decent home at the time, thinking, oh yeah, this is it. And the interesting part was when we had the workmen come round to set up things for us, they were like, is it upstairs you live in the flat? No, it's a home. Oh, look at the shock in their face. How could you possibly own a house like this? Why? Because you're black. And so, as things will have it, because they know how the system works, I lost it. Why did I lose it? Because some smart, like where I worked, thought, yeah, I've got it made, and he swindled the company. We lost everything. Made redundant in the process. In the end, I was back at zero again. So, you come over here and your life is a mess. And at this stage, I lost everything. Lost the home, lost whatever was meant to be in there. I'm like with children struggling to start all over again. Then I had to go take on courses. And that's when I went into hair. But see, this is where our issue is. I know I say to people, the reason I can relate to this is because I experienced everything. It's not something somebody would tell me. I read books and I get other people's stories to what's going on. But my story started right from my local village. And it didn't end there, because even as we speak, these things are still continuing right there. My brother-in-law was even killed in the process of trying to fight for the community. Hired assassins came to his house and killed him. And why? Because now what the system does, these same multinational corporations use local people. And they pay them stipends. These are companies making billions from your land. But you obviously don't know that. That's why my role here is to share this information that I am coming across. They are making billions from your land, and they pay these people who are ignorant about what's going on stipends. And when they're giving them stipends, they will do anything for them. And that's how come anyone who's got knowledge get killed. And so now they've destroyed where I come from, and I'm here. I am being destroyed again. of it. That's the question I'm asking. Where do they want Africans to be? Because what I'm saying to anyone who cares to listen is, the way it's going, we don't belong anywhere right now. I was hearing Zambia has been taken over by Chinese. Because, again, the story goes round. This time, your country, your so-called politicians, which is a big question I have for them, they go to these countries and beg for projects. Oh, can you come and build airport for me? Can you come and build road for me? The truth is, we don't need to compete with any country. African countries don't need to compete with anyone. Sit down in your community and deal with your thing your own way. Yes, we need development, but where is it going to come from? It's not supposed to be coming from outside. If you don't have the money to pay outsiders to come and help you, leave it. Because what you're doing, you're mortgaging future generations to these people. And that's what's happened with Zambia, from the story I hear. It's happening in Nigeria too, because I'm not going to just point fingers at one country and leave the other. I saw a document showing all the different countries where China has a lot of projects invested there. And Nigeria was top of it. Top. But do you know the weird thing with Nigeria? Even when that so-called projects are all going on, you don't see it. It's not on ground. It's on paper. They're building a bridge from here to there. They're building a train station from there to there. You will not see it with your eyes because corruption has taken over the whole money. And China likes it that way. Because China goes to countries where they are corrupt. So they give them this paper money and then they tell them, they decide what they want to do. I just read something today which was very interesting or touched me as usual. I see a picture. This is really heartbreaking. I see a picture of this black child, and apparently this is in 1955 or so, some Congo, I can't remember which country. And this black child is put in a cage that they put birds into. And these two white children are sitting down and staring at this black child like it's an animal. Can you imagine how traumatic that is to me? Because I don't understand where, this is a Bible that I read. I don't understand anywhere in the Bible where God said, I've created different types of human beings and some are superior and some are inferior. I don't get any of that. Because we are like any other of God's creation, the same. Only in different colors, in different possibilities, in different abilities, in different... none of us are meant to be the same. Even when we're twins, our finger thumbprint or whatever, it's different. Your iris is different. Everything about each of us is different. That's how God wanted it to be. Variety. Why then would anybody now feel, because your color is different from mine, you're inferior to me and I'm superior to you? A black child put in a cage and white children are staring. Do you know how traumatic that is? And I've heard so many stories, people reaching out to me, what's happening to their children. I know the solution to all these problems goes right back to Africa. Because that's where we belong. Yes. That's where we belong. And so now is the time for us, if you're African, for us to start thinking how we are going to get back our continent. This is the time. This cannot continue. We cannot keep pretending that it's not happening. We need to face these facts. One of the comments in that image I was talking about was somebody now said, this is what happens to a people who don't take themselves seriously. And he asked a question, he said, do you see anybody from the Western world taking money from their country to go and invest in Africa? Do you see that ever happening? That shows that in their thinking, they know what is good for their people. we Africans are the only ones who will take our money and go and invest in the West. And then they take that money and support their system. And then when they take our money to support their system, then they look at us and tell us how inferior we are and how stupid we are. And how second-class citizen and how whatever names they can think of, they call us. Yes, that made me think. Because why would our politicians, our leaders, or whatever they call themselves, why would they actually take resources in our community and take out of our community? I mean, it's one thing, the whole thing does not make any sense. You allow these people to come to, siphon every natural resource in your community, in your country. That's one level. And then they bribe you, which is what they do in order for them to get in. They give you all this money. And you don't even use that money to invest in your system. Look at Saudi Arabia, look at Dubai, look at Qatar. These are countries with natural resources. What is going on with them? They rather buy the power, the skills. I did a research on Qatar. They buy the skills from everywhere in the world to come and give them infrastructure, facilities. They do all of that. And now all of us are running there. 2022, there's going to be World Cup in Qatar. Qatar is a tiny little place. Lagos alone is about 22 million people. Qatar is about 3 million people. And 300,000 are the natural owners of the land. The rest are expatriates coming to give them skills. They paid for it. But no, Africa, we're different. We will not take our resources to go and give away, pretending that we're opening bank accounts and we're saving money for our generations to come. Now look at it. How does your generation feel sitting in another man's country that's telling you you're inferior? How does that child feel? Or your generations unborn? How do they feel being in another man's country and being called names? Or you're sitting with them, say you're even friendly with them, you're all chatty, and then they put a TV program on, and hey, look at your fellow black person being flogged on the streets or killed on the streets. Or how do you feel sitting there telling yourself you've got money and now you're free to relax and enjoy with them, and then you're seeing a fellow black person being treated badly? How would you feel? When you don't get the message that the main thing to do is invest in your own country and bring respect to your own people. And question these people when they come and tell you they want to come and start mining your natural resources. And you put rules on the table. And then you start hearing things like, this area is listed. This area is conserved. Where is the environmental impact of what you're going to do in this community? What will it bring to my people? Is it going to kill them? Is it going to destroy them? We don't even have water in my area anymore based on all these things that Shell did. And we were fetching water from the streams. They didn't even bother to put tap in the community and say, project by Shell. No, it will be too much because they're dealing with animals who don't know anything. So all we have to do is take that oil and lift her. And that's what they've been doing. No corporate social responsibility. No, not in Africa. That's not a word that's meant to be spoken. It's only in the West. So we need to wake up. As a people, we need to wake up. Because we cannot keep running away from our land to their land, and then they tell us, run back. You run back to nothing. That's not how it's supposed to be. Because I've seen all those migrant ships coming from Libya, coming from wherever. Our children just want to get on that boat and come over. And half of the time, all those boats sink and they're dying on high sea. Because they think there's something to run down to. Little do they know that when they get here, my husband will say, it rates no vacancy. It rates no vacancy. Nobody's looking for you here. And so what we need to do is fix where we come from. We need to go back there and fix it. And I was reading yesterday not yesterday, when I did the last video, I was trying to explain to you what China did. 1949, China set up a science academy. Science academy. And we all know now, again, what being here has helped me to achieve, which is what I'm sharing with you, knowledge. Knowledge is the solution to all of this problem. Africa has trained, they've got so many educated minds. Our educated minds are so much. But what's going on is our so-called leaders don't appreciate the educated minds that we have. And so you keep hearing, oh yeah, terrorists, and you hear kidnappers, and you hear all the crazy negative names you can think about. What if we actually mine those minds and bring knowledge out of those minds? Because that's the greatest asset you have, human minds. It's the humans who create this artificial intelligence. It's humans who create technology. It's humans who work on science. So you're not going to achieve anything chasing people who have already got their own and tell them to bring it to you. All they're going to do to you is keep putting you under slavery, under pressure. Even in China, they don't want to see black people. But the same Chinese people have taken over Africa. They bring everything with them. They don't even employ African labor. Because we gave them the chance. Because we went there to take them. We begged them to please come and give us road. Why can we not create road by ourselves in Africa? Why can we not build our own airports? Why can we not build our own bridges? Why do we have to depend on everybody to do things for us? That's the question I am asking. Knowledge revolution. Human resource. Human resource is the answer. Human resource. These are the knowledge I'm coming across. We don't need to keep depending on other people for our survival. We need to find our survival. God gave all of us brain, gave all of us intelligence. We need to start utilizing what God gave to us in order to grow ourselves and grow the future of our children and take our children from this pain that's coming. If we think this is something, this is nothing. This is nothing when our children and their children and their children's children will be in a land where they don't even know the road to Africa. Or maybe by which time China would have taken over Africa and there's no Africa anymore, and there's no England, there's no Europe, there's no US. The black man will be just this one hanging around, running from door to door. Look at it. Today they are telling COVID-19 they want to test trial first on black people. Do you see why this hurts? If they felt black people were of importance, would they say, oh yeah, let's go and test you first? I'm hearing snippets of news. You're the ones who develop diabetes and high blood pressure and blah blah blah. So these other races don't have those. We need to wake up. So I'm going to leave it here today on this particular one. The main message here is, as a people, collectively, we need to come together and take Africa back. Everyone is in Africa right now, trying to destroy the whole land that God gave to our people. We need to think really hard and use the minds that God gave us, use the brains that God gave us, use all that knowledge we have also come here to learn, or the schools they claim they were giving us. I'll do a video on schools. We need to use all that knowledge to create our own technology, to create our own science, to move our community away from where it is right now, to give ourselves respect. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.